a student at this very school, and today I'm here to talk about whether or not you should be a hopper. So, I'm pretty sure you guys are very confused right now, so let's start with this. Raise your hand if you've ever felt the urge to randomly alter the course of your life at 3 a.m. Whether, see, so many of you, whether it's about escaping to a small town in Italy or it's about changing your then engineering major to now an art major. Trust me, you're not alone. For example, for example, my friend talks about bartending in Hawaii every time she's struggling. So, it's totally, again, totally normal. That is her catharsis. High schoolers often construct alternate realities in their minds, where everything is how we want it to be the second we want it to be. Lives that are perfect and consequence free, and let's face it, a cloud nine dream. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that more often than not, teenagers are, like us are just too scared to face the reality. We're just too scared to turn our dreams into a reality. And that is mostly a universal experience for people our age. But not for me. I'm quite the opposite. I believe in FOMO, or the fear of missing out. It is quite the opposite, like I mentioned. And when we talk about, it's like a pressure cooker in today's world. So for me, I like to go out and change whatever I can from whatever I have. And that also means reality or minds. If you give me lemon, I'd probably like to make some lemon meringue, some lemon risotto, some lemon curd, and maybe then some lemonade. So my goal is to make a whole 3 meal course out of my life, squeezing out whatever I can from whatever I have. This is what makes me a hopper, and I'm proud to be one. A hopper is a person who jumps from one situation to another whenever they feel there's a need. It can be both professional and personal. Talking about being a hopper, for me, it's about taking mental leaps first and then respectively turning them into real life actions when needed. It could be completely different for you. But going back to what being a hopper is, personally, for me, hopping from India to Canada was a big change, which I'll get to later. But essentially, it is not escaping from a situation, nor is it about being impulsive. It's about taking decisions when needed that are progressive and constructive. So, if you want to be a bartender in Hawaii, the main goal for that is that it is what makes your definition of success true. So, if it matches with what you deem as success, you're basically being a hopper, and that's what it stands. This is me. But more importantly, is it you? I'm sure not all of you are here to talk about what I think about my life. What I'm here to do is make you believe what you believe in, right? So, how can you be a hopper? And should you even become a hopper? Is it an ideal situation? Let's dive into this. Around 2 years ago, I decided to move from India to Canada. And I did that when my parents asked me to. So it was completely a conscious decision that I made. And I was weirdly up for it. So, talking about that was my step one, deciding to go to another country. I mean, who decides to disrupt their life out of nowhere? Me. But that is what hopping is for me. So, I'm going to first, before we continue, the simple question is, how to know if you're a hopper? So the main thing you need to make sure is ensuring that they're driven by basically genuine intentions. If you're just bored, maybe go catch a movie or go travel instead. That's much, much better than basically making big decisions out of your life. And I mean that. So, answering the primary question, this is how you know if you're a hopper or not. Recognize the difference between purposeful progression and fleeting distractions. Assessing whether a change is truly warranted should be a foremost consideration. Avoid the potential regret of wrong decisions by acting with mindfulness and intentionality. I wanted to move because because the benefits outweighed the costs for me. And that might not be the case for you. It was worth it. This is the criteria to decide whether or not you should hop. A simple question: do the pros outweigh the cons? And is the opportunity worth its cost? I'm going to explain a big economic term in simplest of words. Opportunity cost. What is it? Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative that is foregone when a decision is made. In simpler terms, it's what you give up when you choose to do one thing instead of another. For instance, consider a student who has two options: going to a party or studying for a test tomorrow. If they decide to study for the test, they are giving out on their social interaction and maybe meeting other potential parties and getting invitation to others. So that's the opportunity cost for that. And if they do decide to go to the party, they're missing out on basically studying for the test, and they might get lower marks on the same. So that is the potential opportunity cost that they face. The best thing about this is they decide what they want it to be. It's up to them. So it's very personalized to their experience. There's no formula. That's the beauty. For me, when I shifted to Canada, that was up to me. So for me, when we could take the instance of my education, I had to decide whether or not it was worth it. Opportunity cost, in my terms, was the education in Canada outweighed the education in India for me. Again, this was a decision made by my conscience, and it can be completely different for you. That is the beauty. Opportunity cost can wonderfully determine whether or not you should hop in a situation. It's a factor that makes decision making easy in a personalized way. You can decide if you should hop or not by calculating the trade-offs with the help of opportunity cost and basically checking if the pros outweigh the cons. Yeah. Another determinant of whether you're suited to be a hopper or not lies in how fully you live your life. Hear me out. I read an article once that explained how we don't live our lives to the fullest. We only give 75% of our energy towards our goals. Ultimately, we only live 3/4 of our life. That is sad. What that entails is that you're probably listening to my talk right now with only 3/4 of your potential and only 3/4 of your energy. What that also means is that you're probably giving only 75% of your effort to your assignments, and ultimately only 75% of your effort to school itself. So that means you're wasting 25% of your life away. That is 1/4 of your life that you're just throwing out the window. We are wasting that much time. I mean, that is somewhat okay unless you decide to do something different or go to a different path altogether. I decided to hop to Canada, and I knew, despite my calculations of opportunity cost and other extra variants, the most important thing was I had to give it my all. I had to give more than 75% of my energy to it. An average person changes their career 5 to 7 times in their working lives. But I guarantee you they will only succeed if they give more than 75% of their potential to it. Basically, you have to give it your all. You can see it two ways. Either you can cram your brain and create a death and life brigade situation in your own heads, where you have to do everything right to give it your all, or you can believe in the butterfly effect. So what is the butterfly effect? It means that where small changes can make big impact. So you can start with small things like being a better version of yourself. You can go on to maybe make a routine, and that can turn into big impacts. Think of it as a domino effect, if you will. You're pushing one little domino and all of them go down at once. It's like hitting 2 targets with one eye. You can take things easy while acing them at the same time. You can take up a routine one step at a time. After all, we all know slow and steady wins the race. I want to leave you with this. Have you ever played hopscotch, the game where you hop to numbers? Sometimes you fail, sometimes you move on. Think of hopping as a big infinity game of hopscotch. All you gotta do is make a conscious decision as to how to maintain your balance. That's it. Sounds easy, doesn't it? How do you do that? let's go over the steps again. Deciding you want to make your dreams into a reality. I mean, unless it's in here, it doesn't work out. Step 2, making sure it is for the right reasons. You're not just bored. Go catch a movie again. Step 3, calculating opportunity cost. Again, there's no particular formula for this. You just have to know that the pros outweigh the cons. Step 4, giving more than 75% of your potential. I mean, after all, it is your life we are talking about. And step 5, waiting for your hard work to unfold. I believe this is one of the toughest. So yeah, that is basically my talk. Let each finger of your hand represent a step. You can do this. You can hop towards a change. This process worked for a 16-year-old high schooler like myself. Now it's your turn to decide whether or not you can hop or not. You decide if you're a hopper. This was just my mere attempt to provide you with some lemons and a recipe. Whip out some ingredients and make something delicious out of it. Maybe some lemon meringue. You're not allergic to success. Trust me. You can do this. You have power. You can do this. You have power. So I guess the ultimate question is, are you a hopper? Are you capable of turning your dreams into a reality? With that, thank you for TEDy Ainlay for having me today. I appreciate your patient hearing, audience. I'm Japji Kaur Jaura, and this was my attempt to get you hopping. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.